6 meters close to the heaven. Oh yeah. I can't quite remember how the scene played out, but I remember it. And she gets the cold, and he visits her, and like she's like all high on the freaking meds or some shit, and she kind of kisses him and then just collapses on her bed, and just I was all like, holy shit, how the hell did she manage to land perfectly on her bed in that state? Conclusions get drawn on a hilltop. How'd that scene play out? Oh wait, that was when she first showed him the hill, wasn't it? Screw it, let's go skip mode. Isn't that nice? Oh yeah, I remember that. See, this is totally Rin's theme, man. Jesus Christ, look at that. That's literally a wall of text. Like when people say wall of text, this is what they mean, man. Jesus Christ. How the hell could you say all that without, you know... Oh my god, there's no comma, no full stop, nothing. No punctuation, nothing. She's saying all that without stopping. I think she kind of like, I should kind of like talk to him about stuff like that. Rin is kind of a hard to understand character. What about me? Slowly diminishes, the weightless sensation becomes stronger. Yeah, that was an interesting scene. Rin is hard to understand, essentially. I mean, that's kind of the main point of the route, really, is Sao's trying to understand her. And like, when she went to just like skip all over that, because this is dragging on here. And like, when she met her at the atelier and all that, and like, saw like her gradual kind of descent into madness in a way where she wanted to break herself for her art, essentially, and Sao was like, what are you doing, you fool, and all that. Eventually gets resolved in the end, but still, just like, very interesting character. Hanako, 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 Hanako. I think I went over pretty much everything there is to go over with her out, I think, because I kind of remember it for the most part, you know. Dog barking in the background, my dad shouting at the dogs. How much is in A? Clearly must have been stuff that I overlooked with Z8. Whether he was learning sign language at some point, and I'm pretty sure I went all over that. It's just Rin and Emmy's route that I wasn't so sure of because it's been so long. So anyway, back to this. So, after that, like, back to that, I guess, the context, essentially. Sao realizes that Lily is going to be moving to Scotland to be with her family. And it sounds like, shit, what do I do? And then, like, well, he doesn't really end up doing anything about it in the neutral ending. And they say farewell, and it's kind of bittersweet. And then the second time around, where he, like, shows a different choice, he decides, you know what? I can't let it end right like that. And so after the farewell scene, he kind of like thinks to himself, just like, I'm an idiot. It's just like, I'm gonna freaking get a cab. I'm going to the freaking Hakamichi residence. That's what he did, and Hideaki was like, hey man, they only just left, so you could possibly catch up with them. And then he was like, shit, thanks. And then went straight to the airport. He spotted Lily and Akira. He called out, and then his heart gave in, and he had a second heart attack and woke up in the hospital. Which, imagine if it ended right there. It'd be like, that's the most depressing ending possible. But luckily it wasn't, because Lily eventually showed up and reveals that she, like, heck, even Akira at that point hadn't even caught the flight or anything. Revealed that they were still there, and that she, like, decided, well, I don't think she straight up decided at that point just yet. Maybe she did, I don't know. Because that probably added to her conflicting feelings of what she wanted to really do. Because it was a hard decision to make. But then Sao, for like one of the few times where he's like, you know, kind of like, you know, assertive kind of, you know, was like, pretty much says to her, it's like, I want you to stay here with us, you know, everything that you've built up at this point has been built here. And I suppose that further kind of cemented her just like being like, you know what, yeah, sure. And she's like, we also, like, I don't think any other point we ever saw Lily cry as well, other than that scene. So that was something different as well. So yeah, and then after that we get that little extra scene with where they're like in the field thing. I think I know what that field was actually. It looks like that image in that CG in the hospital when he's looking out. It must have been the field right about near the hospital that he had his second heart attack and ended up at. But they end up in that area essentially, and like they're like saying their farewells to Akira, and Akira promises to visit whenever she can and all that. And then Sao and Lily just like continue their relationship. So that's kind of a nice ending, I guess. What I would have liked though is for Hanako to be put in the scene as well somehow, because really, so like last time we see Hanako is in this scene. Would have been nice to see how Hanako reacted to Lily's decision to stay in Japan, because obviously that would have been, you know, seemingly important, but what can you do? I have a cold. So yeah, out of the routes, I'm not sure which one I think was the best route, honestly. It's like kind of a toss-up between these four, really. Just like Shizune, just like is the only route that kind of I know would not count as my favorite. I just can't think which one of these four. I mean, I like Hanako's route, but I also like Lily's route. Rin's route was kind of weird, but I kind of liked it. I think Rin's route would actually be second or third. Emi's route... Yeah, come to think of it, I think it's like either Hanako or Lily's route for first, I think. As for characters, favorites, Hanako, Lily, and maybe tied for first even. And then Rin, Emi, Shizune. Not that I dislike any of the characters, I mean, if there's any character I didn't really like all that much, it'd be Shizune. Kinda liked all the characters though, but Shizune, just like, she gave off bitch vibes a lot, which is like, kind of like, it makes sense, like I said, in her route when we find out about her family, especially her father being a complete asshole that's all strict and shit, so you can see where she gets it from, but still, she's kind of a bitch for the most part. She's like, the way she, like, acts around Lily and the way she like comments on Hanako, my favorite characters, that's negative points, Shizune, negative points. And Rin is like really down to earth and just chill, so I kind of like her character. Kind of like Emi's character as well, but not, I don't know, maybe it's a tie between those two, so it's kind of fitting really, isn't it? Lily and Hanako, they're friends, they're tied for first. Rin and Emi have them maybe tied for second, and they're friends as well. Shizune and Misha are tied for third. I honestly like Misha's character more than Shizune's, honestly. As for Kenji, I think I might even prefer his character over Shizune's. It's like, I don't hate Shizune's character, it's just like, It feels like if I knew Shizune in real life, if she was a real person, I think we'd be people that would not get along too well. I could imagine getting along with Rin, Lily, possibly Hanako, maybe Emi, heck, even freaking Kenji probably, and Misha, but Shizune? No, that'd probably lead to Shizune and Lily type relationship where it's like, oh yeah? Well, I'm gonna freaking shit talk you back, bitch! Kind of relationship, you know? So yeah, that's that, I suppose. Well, how shall we conclude? We still got freaking gallery and cinema. My god, it's gonna be like 3-4 parts. This LP is gonna be longer than I thought it was gonna be just for the finale. Cinema. Man, I'm dreading going through gallery because I'm gonna have to freaking adjust the screen because they have those CGs as well. Over time. We're about 2 hours, let's get to gallery, why not? The letter that he got from Miranako. Oh, now that I think about it, that's 2 letters he's had from Miranako. It's the one he got right at the start, and the one he got much later on. I never get to see her face, though. I wonder what she looks like. And this is the only CG she appears in. Her legs must be freezing, man. You know, come to think of it, doesn't this Sao like look different here? I mean, look at his face right here, and like compare it here. Maybe it's just a facial expression. Maybe it's a different artist. I don't know, but it feels different. Real does look like a conspiracy theory obsessed Harry Potter, doesn't he, Kenji? That's an amusing CG. It's nice that Kenji gets, you know, at least 2 CGs, you know. One with his glasses and one without. I mean, look at that. This is Kenji in a nutshell, at least when he's wearing glasses, because he's completely bonkers. So anyway, let's go back to here. That guy right there, he's in the art club, because we see him in the CG that we'll get to eventually. There's Naomi, who ends up being friends with Hanako. I think we see this guy in a different CG as well, I'm not sure. I forget her name, but she did play some kind of role at some point. This girl kind of makes me think of Key for some reason, you know, the company. It's the eyes. Actually, you do as well. We don't know any other characters' names though. Then you've got Peter Griffin, you got whoever you are, we don't get to, well, we don't know you, or you, or you. I think this character, like, maybe got referenced in the opening scene where he originally arrived. I think he commented on her, but we don't know her name. And of course we got Misha and Shizune. And then as that scene that appears in Lily's route, it's kind of weird. I wasn't expecting these CGs to be, you know, here essentially on what they were gonna be. But yeah, he's just like, that was originally when he was like thinking about like his future, and then it appeared again when he confronted Lily about what's her plans for moving and stuff. Then there's Ewanako's letter, and like I said, ah man, my freaking glasses, I can't even see shit there. That right there says Iwanako in hiragana. I know that much. That's like it's spelled out as an I. That's a Y. W-A-N-A-K-O. But it's not pronounced that way, is it? It's Iwanako. Iwanako. I find that kind of weird. It's an I if you spell it out in Romanji, but it sounds more like an E, doesn't it? What we got here? I forget what that one is. I think that one, I freaking can't remember what that one is either. Was it Ni or something? I don't remember. You got the E again, you got To, you got Ga, you got Te. I don't know how to even try the freaking, actually. Wait. Is that Chi? Kashiko. or something like that. I think that's the equivalent of writing sincerely, though. Yeah, it's been. I really should, memorize the freaking alphabet by now, but I haven't. But yeah, I can at least recognize the hiragana there. Akira drinking her classic beer in a can with her bag, always wearing a suit, and tells us how about things that are pretty depressing because Lily was planning on moving back to Scotland. Although she didn't. Well, she did, but she didn't. She did, it's implied in the neutral ending that she did, but in the good ending, she didn't. When he met Emmy and she crashed right into him, and it was like, "Ow, that's not a good thing." You know what? Stuff like this that you kind of just like can like. If I drew like stuff more often, like if I actually practiced instead of just drawing whenever I feel like it, I could totally like look at images like this and be like, okay, so look at how the arm goes out, how the hand, the arm behind the head and all that, kind of give you a general idea of how the body shape should look. Because that's the one thing I've always had trouble with. I can draw faces, I can draw the body, like right to here, essentially. Like just below the boobs, essentially. That's about as far as I can draw. As soon as it gets the legs, it gets like impossible. I'd like usually have the arms like downwards, so you don't really have to draw in the arms much. Then you got Emmy at her most Emmyest. Look at that. Take it in, man. Emmy at her Emmyest. And then Emmy, wait, there's that girl again. I forget her name, man. I can't remember what it was. Kind of makes me think of Naoki, that girl does. Wasn't Naoki also in her track and field team of some sort? I think so. Emmy at her most Emmyest. The smile, and the race is off on Emmy. Emmy is off to its head start. And then you've got that girl again whose name I forget. And she's like, oh my god, I can't keep up with you guys. She looks determined. She looks slightly determined. She looks slightly determined too. But Emmy is at her most Emmyest. And Emmy's going for it. Emmy's going for it. Oh my god! Emmy wins the race. Who would have thought that would possibly happen? No, actually, look at that. That girl beat the girl with the name. How did you do it? And from that angle, it looks like Naoki. Naoki's in the race, but she came in last, possibly. Who knows, really? But all we know is Emmy won the race. And then I think this might have... Yeah, this was one of the other races she had on the same day. Well, she's actually appeared in quite a few CGs here now, hasn't she? One of the few named characters that's not even a secondary character, because she only appeared in 1 or 2 routes, really. At most. Maybe 3 routes. Then Emmy is like, oh man, I just realized I'm pushing myself here. Or you could be just like, that expression you make when you're running and you fart. Ha 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 ha. Aha, aha. Now we're gonna go on to page 2, so that means readjusting the angle because it'll have those CGs as well. What a pain in the ass! And this was when they're just like, I like the CG, I included it, like the clip from that Finally LP in the New Year video, because I liked it. It's just like, isn't that an adorable face? It's a wonderful day, and then it rains. That face. Imagine realistically if people's eyes did that. That'd be freaky, man. This is the scene where that music played that I mentioned freaking ages ago in this. Look how small she looks compared to him, though. And this, I was just like, and again, it's like, the art style for him looks a little different each time we see a CG of him, honestly. He's got a variety of, expression. I gotta hand it to that. And he's all like, yes, I'm here and all that, you don't need to worry. And then he's like, wait, did you just say dad? Because she was like having a nightmare, and he eventually woke her up and asked about it. I think maybe, and I don't think she commented on it, I don't remember. Yeah, definitely when she was having a nightmare. Man, it just seems weird without her prosthetic legs on, doesn't it? Is that a... what is that? Is that a hot water bubble? Bubble? Bottle, not a bubble! What the fuck? Is that supposed to be like a computer or something? It has the shape, but it looks way too small. What the fuck? So he's just like, that's when, like, I think that's the day after she'd, like, had doctor's orders for her legs and all that. She's just like, nope, you can't do any running, we're gonna have to have you in a wheelchair for now. And she was not happy about that, understandably so. And she was clearly sleepy. Actually, I'm remembering now. She wasn't just being sleepy, I think, was she thinking of her father at some point in the scene as well, and just kind of depressed and bummed out? Especially at the fact that she couldn't run, and that's what felt like she had connected to her. Actually, come to think of it, this is one of the few times we see her hair actually down, doesn't it? So yeah, that's that. Close up! I mean, like... wow. Just like, who actually looks that decent in the morning, seriously? I mean, sure, her hair is a bit all over the place. My hair, though, it's all over the place 24/7. It's kind of the style, you know. That's clearly gotta be a hot water bottle. I'm assuming it is, because it has that look to it. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe it's just a plushie or something. We had a kiss. Isn't that cute? Moving on. Isn't that the most adorable, precious face you've ever seen? Probably not if you've seen more adorable, but that is an adorable face. Adorable, 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 adorable. And then they had the same exact thing, but that was like... oh yeah, I forgot all about that. They went on a second date, or maybe it was the first date even. And they like just went, they just like... I think they had an actual picnic, I'm not sure. I think they were trying to make up for the previous one, and this I was like, if I recall, was like, what, do you still remember that? There's that CG that we saw not long ago, isn't it? This was when you get from her back onto her good ending, the alternative way of doing it. The only way to get the CG. Oh wait, isn't this one of those CGs? Well, it leads into one of those CGs, but this isn't one of those CGs, it's just part of it. Just like, haha, mischievous, and then mischievous more, and then censored. That face, look at that face. So yeah, they had one of those scenes, and I can see the scene where they had the scene in the freaking storeroom. That was an awkward scene. I can't read that, but that probably says, like, I don't know, maybe it's a full-on sentence. Because if it's her father's name, that's quite, well... when it comes to kanji characters and names, it usually tends to be at least, like, 2 for the first name, 2 for the last name, but that's 5 there. Maybe that's just says his name, I think, of her father, I'm not entirely sure. And that's where they, like, my nose was like, cold. Where they embraced, and it's just like, nothing lasts forever, but I'll be here as long as I live with you and all that. For as long as I live, I will be by your side and all that jazz. Then they had another one of those scenes, and then that ass. Luckily she's covering her nipple, so... that's the only thing YouTube cares about, isn't it? It's like, no, cleavage? Alright. That's alright. As long as there's no nipple, because Nipple, people go freaking wild, man. It's a nipple. Just like, what about a man's nipple? Oh, who gives a shit? A female nipple? Oh my god! Think of the children, man! That's just so wrong! Just like, violence and gore, A-okay. Nipples? Oh, hell no! Do, smiles. And even on this page we have those freaking, well, one of those CGs. Hanako reading the book without any details on it. The pages are all blank. But that's because, can you imagine how much more freaking time and effort it would take to freaking make all these books have titles on them? I mean, I remember actually making an image at some point for my visual novel that I haven't freaking worked on in ages. It's not even a visual novel yet, really, is it? I mean, I gotta complete the writing for the story before I can even get to that stage. And even then, I don't know how to go about it. I'd have to freaking request some assistance with that, I imagine. It's like, hey, anybody know how to use Ren'Py? You know, the software that they use to make this? Just like, I want to make a visual novel out of it, but man, it'll take me forever at this rate. Freaking Game of Thrones probably be completed by the time I freaking complete it. Heck, maybe even Berserk would be completed by the time I'm freaking around to completing it. Who knows? But I drew like a bookshelf kind of case kind of thing. And it really is. It's kind of difficult. Especially where I went about it. Because I didn't just draw it like this. I drew it in a kind of way where I like went like that. And then it came inwards on the sides. And putting detail on the books is a pain in the ass. So yeah, I can see why they didn't do that. She's like, ah! Oh yeah, that's one I forgot about. The fireworks and Yuko's only appearance in a CG. I mean, what's up with that? She only gets one appearance. But look at that adorable face as they watch on the fireworks from the school, from the Shanghai, and the flowers. She got the doll and the teddy bear, isn't she just precious? And the chessboard, yeah, that as well. And when she went on about her past with the whole fire thing, it's kind of weird how they have the CG like this. But then again, would you really want an overly detailed image of this, really? Well, I suppose it could go either way. But it'd be even more impactful if they did that, honestly. I mean, imagine that. That was a sad scene. And then when her anxiety just like completely kicked in, and I can relate totally, even in a school setting. I remember sometimes years ago when I originally first tried going to college, like do this one course, well, 2 courses. I did alright for the first few times. But like my anxiety acted up, and like, there's a perspective, right? When I went to the college, like it was like a few years ago, like I go to the college now as well, but essentially just like go on a computer and just do stuff. No teacher or anything, is like a supervisor kind of person there and all that, so kind of like if you need any help or anything, just like a bunch of people with computers and all that, online courses, all that jazz. But years ago when I went to college, it was like an actual class, but it wasn't really a class. It was in a class, there was a teacher, but the only students were me and my sister, literally just me and my sister. And even in that environment, my anxiety creeps in. It crept in, and I end up like doing some of the work at home at some point as well. So I can't even begin to imagine how I'd react in a classroom filled with people nowadays. My anxiety is shit. So I can relate to Hanako's anxieties, even though her anxieties are different. Ah yeah, I remember this scene as well. It was when he checked up on her. Aw, look at those face. Those face, I mean those eyes. Pat on the head. Ah yes, and when she like went over her past a bit with the orphanage and stuff, over a game of pool. Look at that face. That is a concentration face. That is a carefree-ish face, but kind of melancholic-ish. That's a smile. Smile! Iwanuka's not in class. It's that guy again, and Naomi without eyes. And Shizune without eyes as well. Get the fuck out of here! Hey, look, it's a penguin. Did I notice that before? But yeah, that was certainly a different experience, wasn't it, that scene? When she sees his scar for the first time, and that was kind of how the relationship kind of mended, I suppose. And all of her scars, I mean, it is pretty badly scarred. But personally, if you know a person with like loads of scars, would it really bother you at all? I don't know. Isn't that just adorable? Look at that face, look at that smile. That was a scene where she kind of like collapsed and was crying and all that. I can't quite remember the context though. What was the context? I think it was because she's just like finally like opening up completely to her Sao, I think. It is adorable. They kissed on the street. Is that a clinic? Is that what that says? It's just like, what? It's just like, oh my god, they're a couple now. It's like, oh, isn't that precious? It's just like, oh. Just, oh. Well, it's just like one of those cases where it's like, that's the awkward thing with drawing something like that, I'd imagine, is how the hell do you draw it properly without it looking awkward? So that it's just like drawn just before it, isn't it? Or just after it. But look at that, that's a confident looking face. We don't even see her scars because it's on the other side, isn't it? We're inside a bakery of some sort. And this CG bugs the shit out of me because there should be more, but look, just that. We meet Lily, and then BAM! No more CG! There were more CGs, goddammit! Where she first touched his face to kind of like an idea of what he looks like. And when they were on their dates. And when she went to say farewell. But she didn't end up leaving in the normal good ending thing, so it's kind of whatever. Origami crane. Didn't he mention that? Like there was a bit of dialogue, text mentioning it when he decided to go to the airport. And again, another drawing. You look at it, it's like kind of get an idea of how hands look. It's a bit awkward looking, isn't it? Hands are a pain in the ass to draw. Legs! Adorable face! Beautiful face! Cabinets! A precious moment between friends that are like family. That was, if I recall, when like Lily was like, oh wait, no, it wasn't actually. Thinking the wrong scene. This was when he woke up with the heart flutter and just looked to his side, and she's just sleeping there peacefully. The trip to Hokkaido with the cards. Look at that face. It's just precious, adorable, man. Her smile as Hanako is clearly winning at this card game. And then on the way back to Hokkaido. Wait. Shouldn't there have been another CG there where she smiles? Because I distinctly remember it. Another CG where they don't put it in, I guess. Look at that precious moment. Is it just me or is he always wearing that? That exact vest, shirt, whatever. He's always wearing that. It's his casual clothes. He's probably got like a closet filled with that exact vest, I imagine. But that's where they confess their feelings. Beautiful.